Hey, my name is Jordan. In this video, you'll learn some basic rolling backup for Angelina Baker. I'll play through the tune, then after I'll talk technique tips, practice advice, and go over a few of the licks that you can check out in TuneFox. If you plan on jamming with other people, backup is far more important than learning a lead. You're going to be playing backup way more in a jam circle than you are playing lead. And backup is good because it helps you really understand the foundational chord changes of a tune. And if we're doing rolling backup, it helps us really get our picking hand in shape, which can get our picking hand in better position to tackle a Scruggs style banjo tune. And a lot of the licks that we will check out here can work for backup, but they can also work for lead. There's a lot of interconnectivity between the backup and the lead in Scruggs style banjo playing. In this arrangement, we're kind of diversifying our use of the forward-backward roll and using it on some string sets that are not the typical string set that you use when first learning it. So you'll see how we can apply it to some different strings and some different chord shapes. The chord changes for Angelina Baker are the same in the A and B section. So if we learn these 4 measures that we have written out here, you'll be able to tackle the whole tune for your backup. So we got half the work and twice the amount of fun. All right, I'm going to vocalize some potatoes before I play this. Potatoes are played before the start of the tune by whoever is the first person to play the first lead in a jam setting. It helps establish the tempo and it lets everyone else know when they're supposed to come in. It sounds like this: bum diddy bum diddy bum diddy bum. Then you come in right there. There's different ways to play the potatoes. Some people use slightly different rhythms, but they usually last the same amount of time, usually 1 measure or 2 measures, at least the way we've written them out here in TuneFox. So again, these are played by the lead player, but it cues all the backup players the right time and the right speed to come in when the tune begins. Bum, diddy, bum, diddy, bum, diddy, bum. All right, I played that slowly to demonstrate, but you should also practice it slowly. And I liked the way it sounded. When I practice slow, I've got the opportunity to really focus in on some finer details of musicianship. I can focus in on trying to make a pretty tone, or trying to get really even timing, or being more in control of my dynamics, playing with an even volume. So slow practice is important, and also it can be and really should be something that you try to make fun and enjoyable. All right, as I said earlier, the chord changes for Angelina Baker are the same in the A and the B sections, and the form of the tune is A, A, B, B. So if we play through this backup that we have written 4 times, that will get you through the entire tune once. Make sure to spike or capo your 5th string here at the 7th fret. If you don't have railroad spikes installed, or if you don't have a 5th string capo, we can tune up our 5th string from a G to an A note. It's not going to break your string. unless there's some problem with your banjo or unless you have really old strings, in which case, go ahead and change them. All right, technique. There's not much going on here, at least for the basic version. We're just using that forward, backward roll the whole time, and we're really only using one finger to fret one single note for the entire backup, so it's nice and simple. Do make sure to have it prepared though, right? At least have your finger close over the fingerboard, if not over the string, a little bit before you're going to need to press it down to make that note. And we're playing mostly open strings, so that gives a nice neutral sound and provides a nice bed of sound for whoever is taking lead. Make sure to try to control your dynamics and play with nice even volume. As I said, that's going to provide that nice bed of sound for whoever is playing lead, and so that way they'll be able to have their notes kind of stand and jump out. We don't want to be too loud or uneven with our volume, because that's just going to create a distraction, and we want to try to divert attention towards whoever is playing the lead, and the less that we do to kind of draw attention to ourselves, the better. And we're going to talk about the licks soon, but in the same way that being too loud or too showy with our volume can be distracting, too many licks can be distracting, especially if we're also kind of coming up with our volume a lot. So we need to try to have good taste, and when it's time for us to play backup, we back up and we don't try to be the stars of the show when someone else is doing their lead. All right, some practice strategies. Memorize. This one should not be too tough to memorize. It's just a forward, backward roll, and then we have those note pinches, and we only have 4 measures, right? So try to memorize this because that's going to be important when you're playing with other people. We're not going to have the tablature in front of us. So you can practice along with hide notes. That'll hide the notes so that you can see the strings they're on, but you can't see the fret numbers anymore. Also, after you memorize it, try to practice it with a lead. So go into the Scruggs style version, or you could even go into the mandolin tune list and play along with the lead there, and you play your backup along while that lead is playing, and that's going to give you really good experience backing up another instrument. Endurance is important. As I said, you'll play backup more than you play lead at a jam, way more. So if you're practicing this, try to go through 20 plus times, because you'll do it even more than that if you're in a jam with a big enough circle. All right, for the licks here, we've got some more authentic and more interesting vocabulary that you can add in, and a lot of these are going to be great reusable licks that you can use in other backup arrangements or even in a lot of your lead playing. There's some Scruggs style licks, there are some walks, and there's some rolling backup also. The Scruggs lick for measure 1 is one of my absolute favorites. I use this all the time. I use it in my backup, I use it in my lead, I use it when playing fills. It is a great go-to lick whenever you are on a D chord. It's just got a great sound to it. Some things to consider. I'm already starting out, I have all the, at least 3 of the chord fingers for this first inversion chord shape down. And we want to also make sure that that pull-off is nice and strong and really in time. Strong pull-offs, hammer-ons, and slides really contribute to elevating the sound of your Scruggs style banjo playing. We also want it to be well-timed too. And this one is great for lead, as I said, lead or backup. Like, it can be used in all kinds of places anytime a D chord pops up. One of the other things that makes the Scruggs lick for measure 1 sound so cool is that little double thumb rake there. Right there. And then it goes right into that pentatonic walk, right? So we get a lot of bang for our buck here with this lick. Love it. The Scruggs lick for measure 2 is cool because it uses this same lick, this same pattern, and applies it both to the D chord and to the D chord. So we really see some instant reusability, and it shows you how to use it, with the open D chord. And then it shows us how to use it completely closed. And this is one that you'll be able to use anywhere on the neck now, because we don't need any open strings. Right? So we're going from this root shape, hitting this root note, and sliding into the same first inversion shape, but for G up here. We were in first inversion D down here, and our root note was the open string, right? So we didn't need to fret it. But then we go to the fretted note, slide up 4 frets into that first inversion, play the same lick, and it sounds amazing. We've got some cool walks there in the licks as well, some pentatonic and some chromatic walks. The pentatonic ones are nice. They are simple, but they are very effective. They're going to lead players' ears from one chord to another, and also can provide some nice interest whenever we're just hanging on a single chord. For example, when we're just on the D chord, we can do this simple pentatonic walk. Right? Cool, interesting, simple, and easy to play. Some of the rolling backup licks will show you how you can apply the forward-backward roll to some different string sets, and that's going to get you totally new sounds. And we can also apply it to different chord shapes as well. Other rolling backup licks will incorporate some slides, and that's going to give you that more authentic Scruggs style backup sound. If you memorize and know where your different chord shapes are, we can open up an entire world of backup. I would suggest that you memorize the common chord shapes for G major tuning. There's only 3 shapes that we usually use in G major, regardless of the chord, right? No matter if it's a F, G, A, B, C, there's usually going to be 3 different shapes we use for those. There's going to be a root shape, a first inversion, and a second inversion. First inversion looks like this. Second inversion looks like this, the bar shape, and here's what the root shape looks like. And there's a pattern to that. There's a pattern, and if we can find one of these and memorize the pattern, we can find all of them up and down the neck. So I know if I go from root shape here, if I go up 4 frets and make this first inversion shape, that's going to be another G chord, right? G, G. If I go up 3 frets from there in bar, we've got the second inversion, and 5 frets from that, back to the root shape. So that pattern can help you unlock chords all over the neck. And if we know that, we can apply this forward-backward roll to get some really cool and interesting backup up and down the neck. Right, so I was just using really just a couple shapes. I mean, I could have gone even further with that, but I was just using this first inversion D shape and this root G shape. And then I went up the neck here and I used my root shape D and my second inversion G, and I was just using different pieces of that with the forward roll by applying this to some different string sets. I could have played that roll on any of those string sets, and if I'm making the notes from those chord shapes at the right time, it's going to sound awesome. Next steps, experiment with what I was just talking about. Memorize those chord shapes, learn where your D and your G is up and down the neck by using that 3 common chord shape pattern, and then try using the forward-backward roll on some different string sets with those chord shapes, and you'll be amazed at what you can come up with. Remember to try to memorize this and practice it with a lead. And if you can practice going back and forth from a lead to your rolling backup and lead to your rolling backup while playing in time with the TuneFox player, you're preparing, if not ready, to go ahead and play this at a jam. All right, that's all we got for the rolling backup here for Angelina Baker. I hope you all enjoyed it. Keep picking. Stay tuned.